Alrighty, welcome back. It's week number 35. This is your programming overview. Should be a fun week this week. Last week, I heard varying things. Some people said, wow, this week wasn't hard at all. Other people said, wow, this was a lot of volume. I did give you a very much recovery Thursday. This week should be back to pretty standard programming if you didn't think last week was. But on Monday, 21-15-9, dumbbell box step up, so not over, just up. Burpee box jump overs, and then dumbbell snatch. Just one dumbbell, 50s for the guys, 35 for the ladies. Fairly simple, straight triplet. It was a good one. I might make it a little bit longer. I might add a 6 and a 3 on there, just so it fits class time better. So that might change just a tad, but it was a solid one. All right, so just pace yourself. Don't go out too fast. If you do, you're probably going to be slower than if you didn't. So just steady. Tuesday, we're starting our new cycles this week. So we're attempting an overhead squat cycle. And the goal in that, and the way why I kind of like pause about it, is because it's not just going to be like, all right, here's a lift, go do it. We're going to do purposeful mobility each time we do our overhead squat cycle. So there's going to be like an A day and a B day of our overhead squat. We're going to go through different mobility activities first before we get underneath the barbell a little bit. And we're really not going to get under a heavy barbell or even really a loaded barbell until several weeks in. That's the goal for it. If it devolves, it might, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, the goal is so that everyone can sit in a bottom position of their overhead squat with nice externally rotated arms and a nice deep open hip squat. That's the goal. I don't care how much weight is on the bar above you. I just want you to be mobile, all right? Because it's important. That's Tuesday. Then the workout after that, I'm also trying to do this. Every overhead squat day, I'm pairing it with something where we're actually going to work our overhead position. So Tuesday, we're doing shoulder to overheads in an AMRAP. You're going to do 3 rounds inside an AMRAP. You have 12 shoulder to overhead at 115 or 75, and then 12 pull-ups. All right, you guys will probably notice that I like pairing gymnastics and things like that together, and then it's going to progress. So 3 rounds of 12 and 12, 3 rounds of 8 and 8 chest to bar, but the weight goes up. So now it's 135 on the barbell, 8 chest to bar. And then if you finish that in the 12 minutes, if you don't, that's fine. Your AMRAP is still however many rounds you get, all right? But if you do finish that, then you're going to move on to 4 shoulder overhead at 155 or 105, and then 4 bar muscle ups, all right? So some of you might see this down here and say, I can't do that, I need to scale. You might not get there, all right? So you might be very out of breath even on round number 2 right here, okay? So don't be afraid to break up the barbell early or break up the pull-ups early. This is a lot of volume just to get to this point. So pump the brakes. You can probably just try and do it RX and see how far you get, all right? I tried to make the weights pretty even to the amount of skill that it takes to get a chest bar or a pull-up. Wednesday is our interval for the week. It's a little bit different because most intervals we do are like super, super high intensity, rest, and that's the goal of intervals, right? But this one, we stick this 30-second handstand in the middle because I want to make it a little bit more skill-based. So you're going to lunge with a kettlebell for 60 feet. You're going to do 10 toes to bar. Then you're going to pause. You're going to have to do 30 seconds of a handstand hold. So if we're scaling it, we're going to hold against the wall. This can be broken up. So you can do sets of 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever it takes to accumulate 30 seconds. And then you're back down. So another 10 toes to bar, 60-foot lunge, and then you rest 2 minutes. You're going to do that 4 times. Thursday, EMOM. You could call it a recovery EMOM. I don't know if I would, but it's a hand over hand sled pull. We haven't done that in a while. 60 feet. Then assault bike calories. The actual score that you get, we're going back to the Zercher hold. You're going to hold a heavy weight. It's going to be 205 for the guys. I think it's going to be 135 for the ladies. You're just going to hold as long as you can get. If you get the whole minute, great. You're not going to get a lot of rest before you go here, but we'll see how that goes. All right, that's the heaviest Zercher we'll have, we've had in a while, maybe ever. All right. Friday, the other cycle we're starting is the gymnastics cycle. Last fall, we started the exact same, not the exact same, we'll make it a little bit different, but a very similar gymnastics cycle. We were working on somersaults and headstands and things like that, and we're going to bring back a lot of those similar things this fall as well. All right. Then you might get some flashbacks to high school and middle school. We were doing the pacer test, all right, the 20-meter pacer test. If you're not familiar, It is a aerobic running test. We're going to do it in a shuttle run fashion. So you might not last as long as you think you should because you're going to have to turn around. We don't have 20 meters straight of stretching of distance unless we did it outside. But I think we're going to do it inside and just do a shuttle run each beep. All right. But it'll make sense. Then Saturday, partner workout. We've done one very similar to this. One partner will do 12 power cleans. One partner will run 200 meters. When you're both finished, you will do 50 wall balls, and you'll do that 4 times. You're going to swap whichever buy-in you do each time. All right. But that is week number 35. If you have any questions, let me know. If you don't, good. I'll see you in the gym.